Wow, wow, wow. So we have had a lot of moves in the NFL. So, what were some of the big ones? Because you could talk about Dante Fowler going to the Cowboys, James Washington going to the Cowboys, Tim Patrick restructured. But let's talk about the big moves. So, Fletcher Cox, he was released by the Eagles, he's going back. The news of the day. Now, you guys are seeing this on Saturday, so it's yesterday for you guys. But Deshaun Watson has been traded to the Cleveland Browns after he originally told them, nah, I don't want to go to you. And then they gave him 230 million reasons why he should go there. And there's actually a little caveat with that contract. While all 230 million is fully guaranteed, his salary, his base salary for 2022 is $1 million. Therefore, if he is suspended for either any or all part of 2022, then it only impacts that $1 million salary. Which, by the way, that's bullshit. Okay? At that point, a suspension doesn't hurt him monetarily. It doesn't. So that's absolute bullshit. But he goes to Cleveland for a first, a fourth, and a third. And Deshaun gets shipped there with a fifth. So it is what it is. My guess is that Deshaun was either going to go to the Falcons or Saints, but neither one of those teams was about to offer him a big-time contract, and Cleveland did. So he took it. So, fine, whatever. DJ Moore, nice receiver for the Carolina Panthers. Got a 3-year extension for $61 million. Juju, he is going to the Chiefs. Johnny Hecker's going to the Panthers. Wells. Yes, big news. Davante Adams has been traded to the Las Vegas Raiders. He reunites with his college quarterback, Derek Carr. Now, this was big because, first of all, he only went for a first and a second. I think he should have gone for at least 2 firsts. But at that point, he's a disgruntled wide receiver who refused to play on the tag, and he pretty much didn't want to be there. So Green Bay really doesn't have that much leverage. A year ago, if they trade him, maybe he does go for that 2 firsts and more, because he's also a year younger, so whatever. And then they gave him a big-time contract, too. So apparently, Aaron Rodgers, when he signed his contract, he knew Davante was going to be out the door. He knew that. So might as well get your money. Eli Apple, I don't know how the hell he got another contract. Don't ask me. Let's see. What else was big news? Let's see. There's a lot of restructures to clear up cap space for teams. Yes. Von Miller has signed a 6-year contract for $120 million with the Buffalo Bills. So, that puts him at $20 million a year. He is the first defensive player to ever sign 2 $100 million contracts in NFL history. So, very good for him. Anything else that was big? Julio's being cut by the Titans. Khalil Mack, he got traded to the Chargers. Though, some of this stuff is, because March 16th was the official start of the new league year. So that was made official at that point. Whereas it was already reported, much like Carson Wentz, Amari Cooper. Who else? Yes, the Russell Wilson trade. So much of this was already reported, but you had to wait. And then, Yannick Ngakoue, Rock Ya-Sin were traded. So while much of this was reported, none of it became official until the new league year. Unfortunately, Carl Nassib was released by the Raiders. What else? Howie Roseman got a new deal as the GM with the Eagles. More restructures. More lower name guys. My Steelers, Miles Jack. I'm happy about that. Chandler Jones to the Raiders. What else? Not much, really. It's restructures. It's, Shaq Mason, he was a trade. It's releases. It's smaller name guys for the most part. Like James Daniels, he's a nice guard. He's getting, a little over $8 million a year, almost $9 million a year. So, Young Ho Koo, the kicker for the Falcons, he gets a 5-year deal. So that's good for him. Marcus Williams to the Ravens. A little pissed off about that. I kind of wanted him. J.D. McKissick, he pulled a 180 on the Bills, much like Randy Gregory did. And who was the other guy? One guy decided to pull a 180. It was McKissick, Gregory, and God, who was it? There was one other guy who had agreed to sign with one team. Oh, Zadarius Smith. He has decided not to sign with the Baltimore Ravens. So that is some of the biggest news in the NFL this week. Free agency kicked off. Lots and lots of signings by NFL teams. So, while stuff was reported, nothing became official until March 16th at noon. And one more thing. Noon Eastern, that is. The NFL's legal tampering period is, 4 p.m., I believe. Legal tampering was the 14th at noon. That's what it was. So the NFL's legal tampering period is a joke. And here's why I say that. So, legal tampering started March 14th at noon Eastern. And then the actual official league year, I believe, started March 16th at 4 p.m. Eastern. Okay. By 12:30 Eastern Time on March 14th, so a half hour into the NFL's legal tampering period, teams had already reached agreements with players from other teams. How the hell do you do that? How do you just come up with a deal within a half hour? At noon, you called. Immediately, right at noon Eastern, you called this guy's agent. In a half hour, you had a contract and had it reported and up on the website? No, you don't do that. The NFL's legal tampering period is a joke. It is. And then you see teams who, they talk about, we're so far against the cap. We're so far against the cap. And yet, they restructure, they do this, they do that. XYZ, and they end up with really good teams, and it's like, how'd you do that? So, the legal tampering period, it's a joke. Salary cap, a little bit of a joke, because you see what the Rams did last year, what the Bucks did 2 years ago. You see what teams are doing now. Like the Browns, for example. They just got Deshaun Watson, so they have him for cap. They have Myles Garrett for cap. Nick Chubb signed. Their offensive linemen are mostly signed. You have all those defenders they signed last season. John Johnson. They're gonna have to sign. God, they traded for Amari Cooper. He's like a 20 mil cap hit this year. They're gonna have to sign their corner. The guy who came in with Baker was the fourth pick because Baker was the first overall pick. I can't think of his name right now. Ward, I think. Denzel Ward, yes. So, like, the NFL salary cap is a joke. It's a little bit of a joke because you can restructure, do XYZ, and before you know it, you were 80 million over the cap, and now you're 80 million under the cap. Why even have a salary cap at that point? You know? And I understand you need a salary cap. That way the teams that are richer than others don't have an advantage. They're restructuring anyway. They're paying anyway. The point of the salary cap was to keep stuff even. It's not. They're just restructuring. And they're going to do it anyway. So what the hell's the point of the salary cap? And then that legal tampering period. You cannot convince me that someone talked to a player and their agent and came to a deal and had that deal reported and put on a website in 30 minutes. No way in hell. They've been talking for days, if not weeks. And it's every single team that does it. Every single one. I know it wouldn't have taken, the Steelers, because I'm even a Steelers fan, so I'll call them out on this. Their first free agent signing was Mitchell Trubisky. Now, I don't know if it just didn't take a lot to get Mitch. I know he said he wanted to come to Pittsburgh. Maybe it didn't take a lot to get him, but still, that was really quick to get that deal done. I wouldn't be surprised if they were talking to Mitch 2 days before, 3 days before, expressing their interest, talking figurative numbers. Same thing with like the guy that was signed in a half hour. It's like, oh, hypothetical, if we were to sign you to this kind of contract. Like, come on. It's stupid. So, that's all I got. That was this week in the NFL. So, I want to continue to do a somewhat schedule like this. Have a weekly recap on a Saturday. Periodic videos throughout the week. On my main channel, I have a video that goes live once every 3 days. So that allows me some leeway here to be able to post and make videos. So I kind of like the schedule. I like how it's going, but we'll see. So if you guys did enjoy this, please leave a like and channel. Please hit the subscribe button. Turn notifications on. See you guys next video. Later.